Hello, this is Raquel with Paints and Glitter. I am coming along live with the hopes that I can do a little bit of coloring with friends today. I'm going to wait for this live stream to show up on my other device. Hopefully it shows up okay. Okay, so if you are here, feel free to say hello. I'm not going to be able to participate in the chat, but hopefully you guys can see me okay. I'm unable to see the video on my end, so I'm going to wait for an ad to pop up or, go away, and hopefully then I can see it. So if you're here, just make sure you say hi in the chat so that way I know that it's streaming and that you can hear me okay. And it looks like I am upside down. So I'm gonna have to do, hi Sandra. I'm gonna have to do the loop-de-loop like I always do. So bear with me one moment while I change the camera view. So that way, and thank you so much for the thumbs up. I'm going to do the little, twirl around of the camera. And I cover it up so that way I don't make anyone dizzy. So bear with. And I hope that that's okay. Hello, Tanya. I hope you guys can see me all right. I'm going to try to also plug in my phone. That's what I use to make my live videos. So hopefully that'll change soon. I'm trying to update my setup a little bit. I just have to figure some things out. And let's see here. I know you guys have to be patient with me when I'm doing all this rigmarole. Okay, so now let me zoom out a tiny bit so that way you guys can actually see. So hello, Stacy. Hi. Oh, wonderful. Thank you for letting me know that, because sometimes I'm unsure. Can people hear me okay? Can they see me all right? All right, so you guys probably are familiar with my channel. It's probably why you're here. You've probably gotten a notification, and for those of you who have signed up for notifications, I want to say thank you, thank you. It really helps the channel if you subscribe and you click on that little bell, so that way not only do you of course get notified about new videos, but then it helps of course with the analytics for this particular channel so that it actually even pops up. I was doing a little bit of math and I realized that the majority of the people who watch my videos are not even subscribed. So if you can do that, if you're new, please, please, please consider doing so. It's not going to cost you anything, and I'm not going to ever ask you for anything either. As a matter of fact, even when I do giveaways and that sort of thing on this channel, I don't even ask anyone to send anything in to me or anything like that. The purchases that I make are my own and all that good stuff, because I want to just be here to share what I love to do, which is of course crafting and primarily the use of different types of mediums for card making and 3D crafts and mini albums. So if you love that sort of thing, then you're in the right place. And I'm also here, of course, to encourage you to use the items that you do have on hand. Having said that, today I got out some of my little goodies because I've been quite busy. Hi, Kathy. Oh, thank you, sweetie. You know what? Thank you for mentioning that, because that's what I was going to bring up next. So I was wanting to be on a regular schedule like the really good YouTubers out there that tell you, I'm going to see you every Friday or every Monday, that sort of thing. I very much admire people who can do that. At this moment, awesome. Yes, journaling is okay. I'm gonna get off track. So let me just say this really quickly. So as it stands, the way that my schedule works is that I have to work around my ability to sit in a chair. Okay. So what happens is that it is extremely painful for me to sit. So when I'm crafting, a lot of the times I'm standing up and then sitting down, standing up, sitting down. So if I'm filming a video, obviously, if it's a tutorial, that sort of thing, that I'm going to be sitting, and then the remainder of the time I try to stand. So When I have a lot of projects back to back, I have to be really careful about how I divvy out my time, because then if I don't do that, then I'm out for the count and then I can't move. Basically, it's too painful. So what I do is that I try to pace myself. And I'm also not a fast crafter either. So um, inspiration just hits me out of the moment. So, or in the moment, I should say. So sometimes I'm thinking of 3 different things at a time, and I have to, oh gosh, it's crazy. It's kind of scatterbrained a little bit, but I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll start something new and then come back to what I was doing, because if not, the ideas will leave me. And that's just how I am. I think there are quite a few creatives out there who might be able to relate to that. So, um, I try to tame myself to be able to be productive, or as productive as possible. And then that means that my schedule doesn't always work um, as a Monday through Friday type thing. So that's where crafting is a blessing, especially being part of a design team that's understanding about that sort of thing. I'm so truly blessed to be able to do things for Tonic Studios that work with my schedule. So having said that, next week, I wanted to quickly mention, if you don't already know, which would be surprising, next week is March Madness at Tonic Studios. That means there's going to be a live video every day, noon, their time. So from where I am in Eastern Standard Time, that's a 5-hour difference. So of course they are 5 hours ahead. So noon their time is 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you can figure out your time zone according to Eastern Standard Time, then it'll be 8 a.m. here. And I'm going to have a video correlating with every single one of the projects that they'll be showing live all next week. So if you've been wondering why I haven't been here, it's because I've been working my little tush off. So let me say hello really quickly, because I know I'm talking a lot. So Stacy's saying I did that a few days ago. I love what I do, and I just had to subscribe and ring the bell. I'm a card maker, but I love journaling and just poking my toes into album making. Oh, Stacy from Scotland, please do come back. In fact, I have a playlist of mini albums. So if you'd like to dabble into that, or just getting into it, feel free to poke around into that. And also, I'm gonna have a playlist for the videos for next week, the March Madness videos. So I'm just gonna go ahead and organize them all in one playlist, so that way when you want to come back to my channel, you'll be able to find all of those. And hopefully that, you know, that helps a little bit, because they're gonna be tutorials on a lot of stuff. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So Kathy is from London, so thank you for tuning in. I know you guys are probably having maybe your dinner. I don't know, what time do you guys have dinner time over in London? My husband and I were discussing that the other day. And Sandra said, you feel like Sandra, you're not a foreigner. That's so cute. So, oh, thank you, Stacy. Thank you so much. It's a love, love, love of mine. And let me tell you, if you like those, oh my gosh, am I excited for what you're gonna see next week. So stay tuned for that. It's super, oh, it's gonna blow your mind. The designers at Tonic Studios are, I mean, I don't know, they're amazing. Okay, so while I chat, let me show you what I'm doing here. Okay, so I started doing a little coloring, a little this, a little that, because I've been busy doing all of the whole March Madness stuff. I didn't actually partake in the kit. So this is kit 77, I want to say it was. I lose track, guys. So I did get it, and I, you know, here's all the stuff. So I wanted to share it with you guys. I wanted you to see what came in it. If you're not a kit subscriber, today's the release of the new one, in fact, and of course I'm not doing that one either, so that's another thing I wanted to share with you guys. The content on this channel will vary depending on what I'm given to do, basically, and that's the same for all of the other people in the design team for Tonic Studios. So don't think that just because one of the people on the design team, whoever it may be, is doing a particular style of video, that's always what they're going to be doing. So in case you guys have any doubts about that, it's not that I dropped off the planet, it's just that I'm doing other things. So hopefully that clarifies any questions you guys might have. But so I'm seeing here I have a couple of baby memory books to make. I might. Oh, Kathy, absolutely. So as far as baby books are concerned, one of the first, yes, the very first mini album I ever made with Tonic Studios Dies was for a baby girl. The mother was horrifically sick throughout her pregnancy, and they weren't sure if that baby was going to make it. So I'm a woman of prayer. I'm a Christian, and I like to pray for people. I feel that, that's just part of my walk with the Lord. So while I was making that book, I was praying for that baby to survive. And so it meant a lot to me to be able to finally give it to mom, because she didn't really know me very well. And I just was like, I can't wait to be able to put this in her hands and say, fill this with your baby's pictures. So for me, it was very significant that that baby made it, that I was able to give her that little book. And so my videos back then were horrid. They're not the best, but it was so much fun to make it. And since then, I've made several baby books. In fact, there was one. And see, my thing is that once I make a video, I don't really remember. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Once I make a book, I don't always remember if I made a video about it, and I don't know if that makes any sense, but there's another one that I made for a former coworker that was for a baby girl, and that was tons of fun too. So yeah, that's actually probably one of my favorite themes is baby books, and I only wish I had more babies to make books for, but yeah, feel free to peruse. And of course, I don't have them on hand, so I can't show them to you, but they are on that playlist. So here's what I was going to mention about this kit. So this kit was very much, if you haven't already noticed, the lavenders and then the mints and that sort of thing. It came with this little glimmer mist, which is so, so pretty. It's Astral Aubergine. That's the color. I did do a haul video where I shared all of this already. So what I wanted to repeat here, and I'm sorry, I have a little kitty cat hair on my smudge. Actually, I think I have cat hairs everywhere. My little cat, she's so darling, but she does get my stuff kind of icky every once in a while. So anyway, it came with a spatula so that you could play around with the paste. And what I did was that I combined it with a couple of other markers, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So that's why I titled the video Let's Color, because I wanted to make use of this kit. And it's so sad that I haven't even been able to really play with it. But it came with these gorgeous stamps. So if you haven't seen this, if you're not a subscriber, it does have this stamp here. And now this isn't the actual stamp, but the carrier sheet. But if you see those florals, it's got these really beautiful, very graphic flowers, which I absolutely love. And then it says, true forever, hello, I am grateful for you. I think, thank you, best, you're amazing, we are, and then thinking of you, and then a solid little flag, which of course you can either heat emboss, or you can just stamp it in a light color and then put the sentiment on top in a darker color, whatever you like to do. Of course, once you have it in hand, then you do what you like, right? But here are the dies, in case you did not see this. It came with 2 different dies. Now today I've only cut one, and it's this one here. And 2 different types of frames, which are interchangeable. One's got the stitching edge. The other one is solid. Here's that little flag again, only this time it's smaller, and it's of course a die cut instead. And then there's another little banner, 2 little ovals, one scalloped, and then 2 I'm sorry, 4 rectangles. This one's got a bit of a tattered edge, and I love that. And then the other ones have scallops, and the 2 smaller ones have little dots. Then there are 3 sentiments with shadows: friend, sorry, and hello. So wonderful little set, which is really universal in my opinion. So let me set this aside for a moment and share with you what I've done. So I got my little pencils out as well. And yes, I agree with Tanya. I do love the colors. They are rich, but also you can, you know, pick and choose and make it very light as well, if that's something that you prefer. In fact, I was debating. I was like, should I go the shabby chic route? Should I go more intense and graphic? I like all of it, so it makes it really hard to choose. But let me show you what I've done so far, okay? You just got a sneak peek there. And I did grab some of the papers that came in the kit. And these are, you know, the color palette. And let me share with you what I did here. Because when you do stamping, you kind of discover things along the way. You get those happy little accidents. And for instance, here, I already colored this panel, as you can tell. But let me show it to you a little bit closer so you can see what I did there. So I actually stamped, where's the camera? Here. I stamped that image in a water-based ink onto watercolor paper, okay? And I think, let me think of the color. I think I put it away. Let me show you really quickly. Okay, this is what it was. It was Distress Oxide ink in the color Seedless Preserves. So if you know anything about oxides, the moment you add water, then it gives you that chalky finish that's lighter than what it initially stamped. But then if you pick and choose where it is that you add water, you can still have those really dark areas versus some lighter areas. Now what I did was that I took a little watercolor brush, a little watercolor brush. I just pulled a little water, nothing serious, and then I went through, and little by little I just picked little areas onto which I would add my water. Now I also wanted to emulate the color, right, of this little minty green, but because this is a watercolor paper, I knew that an alcohol pen wasn't going to give me a light wispy color. So instead, I took this color here, and it's Skylight. This is from Catherine Pooler, and if you've never used her inks, they are amazing. And that was the equivalent of this marker here, which is the Pillow Mint. So close enough anyway. And that's what I used to go ahead and color the background there. So instead of that being a stark white, then I have that minty green. And then here on the darker areas, I just went ahead and applied a darker, you know, amount of the actual ink. So lastly on there, I did take, now this is really old. This is the color Pampas Grass Mica Mist, and this was a sample from like eons ago, but it's still in there and it still works. So I just took the little spritzer off and I, you know, did my little flicking motion on there. Then lastly, I took a white Jelly Roll pen, and then I went to town giving that all of those petals some detail. So that way I still had quite a bit of highlight. And what I want to show you is the contrast between the image that you're looking at here and then look at this one. So of course I didn't finish this one so I could show you what I did. Okay, so look at the difference there. And this is what's so awesome about these types of stamps, and then the mediums that you use along with them. So over here you have that really soft look, even though there is some intensity to that. But then over here, there's quite a bit of texture. And this reminded me of old newspaper, if you know what I mean, or the old publications that would be made with a printing press. And I know that that's something that not everyone, of course, you know, younger people probably wouldn't know what I'm talking about. Not made with a printer. But what I did to achieve that texture is that the paper that's included in the kit, I mentioned this in all the videos, one side has a linen weave and then the other side is smooth, and most people will stamp on the smooth side to get a clearer, crisper image, but you don't have to. What I did was I stamped it onto that linen weave texture. Then, after stamping it, I did heat emboss it with this embossing powder called Blue Depths, and that's from Tonic Studios. So, of course, for that, you can use a dark ink if you want to, or you can use Versamark ink. I actually did a combination of inks, to be completely honest, because the first time around, it did nothing, and then I was like, what am I doing wrong? And then I was like, oh yeah, rookie mistake, I needed a different ink. So there's more than one ink on that foundation, but I'm loving the way that it looks. And what I did was that I did a little bit of, you know, color theory to achieve that. So let me show you, since I said let's color, right? Let's get to the point. But I do like to explain those things because I'm the kind of person that if I'm watching a video, I want to learn something. I want you to teach me something. So I hope that that's something that you guys take away from these. So let me zoom in so you can see a little bit better. Okay. So I think I'm in the right place there. Hello, Ulrich. I love your name, from Austria. Welcome. Hola, chiquita. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. Let's see who else is here. This is a good time to be here, Wednesday too. Okay, so normally, by the way, normally I don't do Wednesday videos. I normally do them Thursdays, and I am hoping to be able to come back tomorrow with a flower video, by the way. I'm not forgotten about that. So I'm doing a flower series. It's meant to be to grow the channel and also share with you my love of all things flowers. And every month I'm hoping to bring something a little bit different. It's not to sell you anything or anything like that. And at the end of it, what you'll get is, if you win, I'm going to pick a winner, a US winner and an international one. If you're from the US, you're going to actually get a version of or a duplicate of every single flower that I show in the video, okay? So help me grow. I'm hoping to reach 5,000, that's all. Now, for this, here's what I did. You can pick either one, it doesn't truly matter. But what I did was that I picked a flower. I went in with either one of these colors. I have both Tiger Lily and Fruit Punch. And what do they have in common? They're this kind of peachy color. So the Fruit Punch is actually what I also used for the background here, if you can tell. So what I want to do is, let me go with the lighter one. I'm going to use this as my kind of foundation color. And then I'm going to go in with 3 colors of lavender. And of course, this came with 3 of these, and I can't remember now which ones they were. Or maybe it was all 4 of them. To be honest, I don't remember. But let's see. They need to be kind of color, or close in color. I think it was this color family here. So 441, 439, and 437. I'm almost positive those are the 3 that I used that came in the kit. So these are Black Currant Tart, Sugar Plum, and Spring Lilac. So just 3 different hues of the same color, okay? So here's what I did. I laid this down first onto this paper. Now, if you can tell here on the stamping, where you see the dark blue, that's of course the inner part of the flower where it's a little bit darker. I just picked that little area and I very lightly just kind of dabbed it with this peachy color. Oopsie. And then I followed that with that dark purple color, that 441, right on top. Exactly on top of what I just colored there, okay? Now, what is this? What am I doing? This is called, there's a name for it, guys, and the word's escaping me right now. But this is, yeah, I forgot the word for it. Don't worry about it. It's a way to add hue depth, or color depth. That's what I'm trying to say. But the actual technical word for it, I think, is of no consequence. So this is 437. That's going to be the lightest one. Let me put it here. That's going to be the lightest one of all three. And then I'm going to put that right at the very top of the petal. So that's essentially what I did on all of the other ones, okay? So now that I explained the process, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go a little bit faster so that we're not here too long. So again, you can hit as many areas as you like with that lighter color that you know are the very darkest part of the petal. And mind you, this is only one combination. You can do this with several different hues of light color and see what you what the result is. What I recommend is that you use a color that is opposite on the color wheel. And that way you're going to have a really pleasant result. And it gives a little bit of vibrancy to what you're coloring. Now, normally I would not advise that you color on this type of cardstock with an alcohol marker, to be completely honest. But the reason that I did it was because I wanted that texture. And you have to trust yourself when you're doing this type of coloring also, because if you get visually distracted with the actual shape of your image, you're going to think, oh my gosh, what a mess. But just trust the process, okay? Now you always have the option of working from, you know, light to dark or dark to light when you are alcohol coloring. What I did here is, of course, because I was laying down that, you know, that under color is what I'm going to call it, then I purposely started off with the dark color and then blend it out from there. So you're going to see this comes together quite easily, actually. And then, of course, if you want to have a much lighter edge to your petal, then you can definitely use a lighter lavender. You don't have to go that dark. But let me check the chat here really quickly. Thank you, Ulrich, thank you. And I don't know how to say your name any other way, so I hope I'm saying it correctly. And if I'm not, I apologize. Sam, hi. Hello, hello. Aw. Thank you so much, Sam. I know you're a hardworking woman, so don't worry, sweetheart. Just always keep in touch, okay? Don't be a stranger. Says the girl who never calls anyone because I'm horrible at it. I'm really the worst at that. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm that person that you have to say, hey, are you alive? Oh my gosh. What are you doing, Raquel? I'm just like that. I'm so in my own head all the time that, you know, it's bad. It's really bad. Okay, so let's see here. I don't know why I had that one. Let's do this. I think this is the color that I was just doing. I put the marker down and no, I think this one's a little bit lighter. Okay, not a problem. All right, so let me just share something with you. If you want to, you can switch it up a little bit. For instance, these petals would be closer to you if you were standing in front of this flower. So it's okay to do a lighter version of what you just did to add even a little bit more depth. There's nothing wrong with that, so long as you're using the same color family, okay? And I hope that that makes sense. So they're all cousins. That's how I look at it. They're all cousins, you see? They're just little different shades, kind of like my family. Oh gosh. So here's 437. And here we go. Put that one there. So this is the medium shade. And when you're blending out colors, which by the way, I am going to do this on regular paper in a minute so that it doesn't look so crazy. But when you're blending out these colors, you can just kind of touch the last color that you had laid down with the next marker. I was going to say pen. And then lastly, you know, wherever you're doing your highlight, you can start with the third color there. And of course, you kind of have to, here's the way that I look at it. You kind of have to take a read, if you will, quote unquote, of the type of paper that you're using to know also how long you want to leave that marker there, because that's what's unique about alcohol markers, is that you can really saturate your paper on purpose to get a different type of result. Okay. But I'm quite happy with that. And then I'm going to add a little bit more down here, just a tiny bit, not the entire center of that. And then the rest of these areas, I'm purposely going to leave as they are because I want that texture. I want it to look like, I said before, like something that was printed a long time ago at a printing press. And the texture, of course, is coming from the actual paper. But let me see if I can show you that. How cool is that, right? And it's a completely different result. And I love the way that it feels. So that's just a little different way. Diana, hi, sweetheart. Thank you for being here. Yes, have a blessed day, Sam. Thank you for having stopped by. So this is just fun. Now, of course, the green here, I did also with alcohol markers, okay? So I did the same process of just a darker one toward the kind of center of the stems or the leaves, and then a lighter one to highlight. But I didn't do too much with that. I didn't do any undercolors. But I hope that you are able to see, especially for instance in this flower, okay, how that little touch of peach there really does make a difference in the color, even though there's, you know, you still see how this is quite dark there in the center, but it just adds a little something extra. It adds a bit of glow to that. And then of course with the background being that very dark color, because it's a contrasting color, it really helps it to pop. So I hope that makes sense. Now let's go ahead and put this on an actual card. And of course I had some choices here. I was thinking of, because I wanted this to look kind of, I guess kind of vintagey, I thought that I would take another piece of paper here and then do something to it. I was thinking, see, I have some gray ink and I have the other markers. Let me see here, because I also have this green paper. I thought maybe this would look really neat. But I do want to have, you know, add some texture to this other paper. Let me see if I can zoom out a tiny bit more. Tiny bit more. Here, not too much. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. Yes, absolutely, Diana. Please come back. So the colors were all included in the kit. So that's another fun thing, that if you like to experiment with new colors, the kits are really fun because you get to do colors that you otherwise might not even think to put together, and that's really neat. Speaking of which, I already remembered now what I wanted to do with this. I have some expanding mousse. So I wanted to add some texture to this panel here. So let's do that. I have, let's see here. I have some stencils. Matter of fact, I was given a stencil as a gift and I forgot all about it. When I purchased my little sweet petunia, this little gun thing, I got it from, I think it was Picket Fence. They sent me a stencil as a gift because I had to wait. And I thought that was so sweet of them. So let me see if I can right quick find it. I think I stuck it in here. I have this little folder. I'm looking through here, trying to find it. I can't remember what it looks like, but I know it's new. And if I can't find it, I'll just use a different one. I probably won't be able to find it in here right now. So I'm just going to pick whatever willy-nilly. Let's do this one. Let's just do that one. Or actually, I probably need a bigger one because it is going to be expanding mousse. Let's see here. There's that one. And I do have more. I just don't know why. I can't think of what that... Oh, here it is. Here it is. This is the one I was referring to. Let's do this one because I've never used it. Just for kicks and giggles. Thank you, Chiquita. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can't take any credit for the colors whatsoever. I was just like, you know what? We have to give this a try. Now I did decide to add these, but that's just, you know, whatever. There's nothing new under the sun. Let me just tell you that. It's not like it hasn't been done. Okay, so let's get messy. And by the way, here's my stamp. The minute I used it, it got so stained. The poor thing. But I love this platform, which, by the way, I think is back in stock over at the UK Tonic website. So if you don't have one, let me tell you, you want it. Because it does make life a whole lot easier. And then you can get this little grippy mat for it and all the good stuff. But hey, look at that. It's the perfect size. I love it when that happens. Happy accidents, right? All right. I always have glue or tape. All right, so let's have a little fun with this. So let's use that little spatula that came with. And if you don't know about expanding mousse, this is just, you know, I always think that designers sit in a room in a big, you know, oval table going, hey, what do you think would happen if we did this? I think this is one of those products. You add heat to it and it expands. So you can do a distressed look. And it feels like plaster, which is kind of fun. So you put it on here as thick or as thin as you like, but I really like the color because it's reminding me of the same base color of this paper, right? That actually, look at that. How cool is that? So this started off as an ivory piece of card, and this is in an ivory color. In fact, this is called natural cotton, and I like the idea of adding something that feels kind of like fabric or cloth to a card. I always think that that's super cool because adding texture, you know, can really, really amp up a card. If you're not sure, for instance, of color, don't worry, repeat the same color over and over again. Just use it with a different texture. So for instance, if you only have 3 markers, you can still make a beautiful card. You don't have to have everything. And as a matter of fact, with this type of medium, if I want to, I can mix it separately and then add color to this to change it from this ivory to something different. And speaking of that, I'm wondering what would happen if I sprinkled this with a little something, because it's always a good time to experiment. So I'm going to grab a little something really quick. Now, I kind of want this to be a little bit even, only because I am going to heat it up. Okay. So I'm missing a little spot here. And let's see here, right here. Just going to fill this up a little bit more. And then once I have all of this covered, okay, now I'm happy with the coverage on that. I'm going to just put this on a paper towel. And this is a water-based medium, but you do want to clean your tools as soon as you can when you're, you know, using these types of things. So if you can wipe it off right away, then even better, because then you can just, you know, put it right back in a little cup or whatever. But I wanted to see something. Okay. So I have this little, this is called Shimmer Powder from Tonic Studios, and it is a little powder with mica in it that if you add water to this, it will kind of spread out that color. So I wanted to see what will happen if I just add a little bit of this to that background. Let's just play a little. And it might be difficult to see, but now I'm going to add a little bit of water. And see the color? It's got blues and it's got greens in there. Now, I've never done this before, so I have no idea what it's going to do to the actual mousse. But I just wanted to see. That's how you learn, right? Just try it. And if it's an epic fail, I'll just use it for something different. I'm not even worried about it. So, let me put this here. Okay, and I'm going to remove my little stencil. Sometimes, woohoo, I need to remove some of the water though. Oh, well, it's going to have texture, that's for sure. Or you know what? Who cares if it gets all over the place? I'm just going to do this. Oh, I like that. Okay. I'm going to set this aside. Okay. So now I'm going to apply heat to this. And we shall see how it transforms. Now I can certainly leave it on here, but I'm going to take it off. Okay. Set that aside. It makes it a little bit easier. Okay, and I have another little medium mat here. All right. It's a good day to get messy. And now I'm going to heat this up, so I apologize for any noise. Just want to see how this is going to work. And of course I can spread this around a little bit. Because there's some droplets there. Just kind of let it travel. And the one thing I'll say about this is that I'm using 110-pound card also. But you could, you know, experiment with watercolor card or regular cardstock. So I'm already seeing the texture come through on that mousse. Let's see if I have a need for it. So Sandra, to answer your question, this is actually Nuvo Expanding Mousse. So it does change once you add heat to it, and then to that mousse I added a sprinkle of Shimmer Powder in the color Falling Leaves. And then I did spritz it with a little bit of water. That's all that's in here, is just water. Just to see what would happen. And what's really neat about this mousse is it kind of starts bubbling up. So I don't know if you can tell right there. I can zoom in. Let's see here. I can zoom it in so that way you guys can see. It starts looking really kind of crazy, I guess. I don't know, but I think it's fun. So I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of like popcorn. I don't know. It's a really weird result, but I really like it. Hello, Mandy. No worries. I didn't announce this video as usual. Did not announce it. But we're just playing around with some Nuvo Mousse and some Shimmer Powder on some white cardstock. Again, the color of this is natural cotton. So the number for this, at least in the US, I don't know if it'll be different in the UK, but this one's 1711. And this does come in different colors, but as I was sharing, you can change the color by adding other mediums. So you can definitely add any type of ink that you like to this sort of thing. I just happen to have some shimmer powder and I wanted to see what that would look like, so I sprinkled some falling leaves on that. And now with the heat, this texture is going to come through. And I do have another heat gun, so I apologize that I'm not using it. I just can't recall where I put it. I put it away, and so it's out of my reach at the moment. So I'm just going to continue until this is dry. And I'm already feeling that, yeah, it's almost there. It does feel like gesso once it's dry. So I know Sandra was asking me if I use gesso. So again, the level of texture and the amount of depth that you're going to get on this is going to be completely dependent on the amount that you applied to your paper. So if you lay it on super thick, it's of course going to take a little bit longer to dry, but then you're going to see a bit more of that bubbly texture and all that. And it's a lot of fun. So do like to dry the paper, you know, the back of the paper, just because some of the moisture is of course going to travel. And I think that feels pretty good. It doesn't feel like it's going to flake off or anything. Okay. So now, let me see if you guys can see that a little bit closer. You can see all the texture that created. And of course, there's some pooling of that color, but there is some shimmer to a part of this too. So just a lot of fun. If you think, for instance, of masculine cards, if you struggle with them, this would be a fun medium to play around with on that. Sorry about that light. So that's a lot of fun. I like it. And then I'm just going to cut down this piece of paper to create a card base. And I think I also want something dark behind this. What do you guys think? It's kind of neat like that though. I don't know. It's fun. You can always use another piece of card here. Use another piece of white card and just ink it. Add some dark ink to it to add even more texture. That would be kind of fun. So let me get my paper cutter out. Cut this down. And I think I want to use the entire panel just because I really love the results of that. So I'm going to gauge the size of this according to that panel, which is going to be this one here. So this is 3 1/4 inches wide. I'm going to cut this one at, let's see, 3 3/4. Do maybe 6 1/2 here. I have to use this. So 6 1/2 is going to be right here. Okay, so I'm just cutting down this one piece of card. it's all going to layer together, but first I'm going to add some dark color to this. So let's go ahead and add this lavender color. Let me see if I have an ink that looks just like it. Purple. I don't have a lot of purple. Oh yes, I do. I've got this one. I've got Royal Plum, so let's just go with that. Just add a little more texture in case we didn't have enough. But again, it's to keep with that whole textured look, right? And you saw how easy that is. There's no, you don't have to think about stuff too much, guys. Just go with it. Okay. So that's going to go together just like that. Super cool. What I'm going to do now is adhere this. Now, because this has so much texture on it, I am going to use hot glue on this, which is, you know, might sound crazy, but I want this to be able to stick and stick on a live video versus me having all the time in the world, right? Okay, so that's going to go right there. And of course, if you want to tatter these edges, you can do that. A little more tattered edge look there. Okay, I didn't need to do it on the bottom because I actually had quite a bit of texture on that edge with the mousse. So that's another thing, of course, that you can do. You can just run the edge of your paper through it. Okay, so put that on here. And the one thing that I'm going to say to those of you who are have just gotten here is that there is a difference in the paper. This uppermost panel is Craft Perfect card, and it is, the stamp image is stamped on the linen weave side, not the smooth side. Then behind that is just a piece of 110-pound card with the expanding mousse on top that I sprinkled with the Falling Leaves shimmer powder. And then you guys just saw me take a block of ink and just go ahead and swipe it on that other piece of 110-pound card. And then all of this can go on a panel. And I want to say I had it right in front of my face. I could have sworn I did. I did have a piece of paper here. Guys, stuff just, oh, here it is. Just disappears. So I do have a card base here. You can get these from Tonic Studios. They come in 5x7 size. They also come in the A6 size, which is I think 4 1/4 by something. I can't remember now. But let's see if this will fit on a 5x7. I think it will. And I like the linen weave side, so this is the side I want to use. And I just kind of eyeball a little tiny bit smaller than the 5-inch. And then for the 7-inch side, Mandy, thank you so much. Again, this was the kit. I just didn't have time to play with it because I was too busy doing other stuff. So I decided to come along and share with you guys how I wanted to play with it, because it's so freeing to craft just for fun. Just to get your hands dirty and play. There's no, you know, I'm not having to worry too much about what I'm doing. I don't know. I suppose there's not a huge difference, but in any case. These card bases are sometimes a little bit imperfect on the corners, but I'm just going to call that part of the design today. Let's just go with it. So I'm just going to apply adhesive here. And of course you can definitely stray from this color palette and do your own thing, right? So we might do that next. Slightly anyway. So I'm just going to adhere this little panel down, and this is going to be the base here. And of course you can cut this down. You don't have to do the entire strip. The stamp, you know, comes in its whichever size, which, you know, you see there. But if you wanted to, you could just do a little portion of this. You could use a little die and cut out different squares, triangles, whatever you want. You don't have to keep it at the full size. And that way, for instance, if you have to make a lot of different cards and you just want to do an entire background in this technique, make it big, and then use dies to cut it down to however many card bases you want to make, that's definitely something you can do. So I'm really liking this. It's different. It's not something I would normally do, but I really, really love the results. Oh, thank you, Chiquita. You like purple. Yes, yes, yes. What I'll do is, whatchamacallit? Send me an email, Chiquita. Send me an email and I will send you this card, okay? So I want to say thank you for coming to the live videos and participating and being so supportive. Okay? So there's that front. And of course you can, you know, lean this a little bit more to the left, whatever you like. Let me tell you though, this feels so good. It's like when you get a new handbag and you just want to touch it. I really love the texture of that. Now there are these little drops. These were the Dream Drops in Indigo Eclipse. This was part of the kit as well. And let's see here. I'm thinking that it'll be fun to add this to the top of these flowers, just in the center here, because this is going to add a little bit of shine. It's the same color family, so it's not going to stray away from that too much. And you add as much or as little as you like. And then you can vary the sizes of the little dots that you apply to it. You can do it on this other little flower over here that had some cream. Same down here. And this is also something that can be watered down. So let's just say you like the color, but you're not into the whole little drop, drop, drop thing. Just use it with a little bit of water and a paintbrush, okay? But I like that. And then as far as the sentiment goes, I'm gonna add that as well. Oh, you're very welcome, sweetheart. So that's the drops. Hopefully you guys can see that. I did move my light because I didn't want to blind anyone there, but hopefully you guys can see a little bit more of that there. And then the rest of the set was, oopsie, just dropped a little bit there, were these pieces here. So let's go ahead and stamp out the flag. We kind of want to know what that looks like, right? And for this, I am going to use a block. I'm just going to place it here. And I haven't conditioned this stamp yet. So let me just quickly spray it with a little bit of water there. And just wipe that off. And if you're new to stamping, stamps always come with this kind of film that you have to remove. when they're brand new, because otherwise they're not porous enough to grab the ink that you're going to put on there. And so if you've stamped an image only once, it might surprise you and you're probably thinking it's all your fault. What did I do wrong? And it could just be that you didn't condition the stamp yet. So I'm just going to add this on here just to reiterate the point, right? Just kind of do that a couple times. Okay. Don't think I want to use gray, however. So I want to use Peach Bloom. And I think, let's see, is that, yes, I love it when the size works. So I'm going to do Peach Bloom, and this is a hybrid ink from Tonic Studios. I got this dirty already. Guys, it's one thing I'm consistent about. Come on now. Here we go. And now because this is a solid stamp, solid kind of background, whatever little texture you have on there, whether it be the little fuzzies from your paper towel or whatever, it's going to show. And I think I just accidentally got gray on this. Yeah, I sure did. I didn't clean that well enough. Oopsie. I'm going to try that again. Oh, thank you. Wonderful, Chiquita. Yeah, I'll send it your way. Okay, so let's try that again. I ruined my little stamp here for, you know, doing that, but I'm not worried about it. It's okay. I can forgive myself for doing that. There's worse things in life. All right, so I'm just going to cover that up. Normally, that would be a nice, bright, light color of peach. I'm just going to stamp that. There. See the difference? Dirty stamp and clean stamp. So I can definitely just fussy cut that. Let me take this off here. Because this isn't going to be terribly accurate, right? Because I'm doing the whole shabby thing, then I can just follow the edges with my scissors. Okay, do that. And do the other side. And these are right-handed scissors, by the way. If you're wondering why I got so quiet all of a sudden. These are right-handed scissors, and I am left-handed, so I kind of have to, you know, pay attention for a minute there. And this can go right here. And then what I'll do is I will put a sentiment on that. Quite the contrast if you look at how light that is. And of course, you know, I can go around the edges with the actual block just to give it a little bit more depth there too. It makes the paper look a little more finished. And then let's go with You Are Amazing. So that way when you look at it, Chiquita, you'll be like, yes, I am. I am amazing. All right, let me put this on here. I'm a goofball, guys, so don't take me too seriously, because if you do, you're going to be really disappointed. Okay, and I'm just going to use some intense black ink because there's some depth to that. Actually, maybe not. No, I don't think I want to do black because there's orange or peachy orange, and I don't like that. I'm going to do blue. because I had, oops, what am I doing? I had mentioned the other color that I had used. When I was stamping this, I had said that I used more than one color, and that other color that I referred to was Juniper Mist, and that's when I was doing the heat embossing. I didn't want to do black, and what I did was different shades of gray and blue, and that was one of them. So let's go with You Are Amazing. You are amazing, honey. Boom. Okay, that's good enough. It says You Are Amazing. And we're going to put that on here. I'm going to quickly heat this because this is really super juicy ink. So I'm just going to really quickly kind of set it. And then that way I don't feel uncomfortable touching that. So let's give this a little bit of movement as well, right? Let's do the little flippity flap. And now we can put some dimensional adhesive on here. And I'm trying to be careful not to ruin the little drops, by the way. Not forgotten about that. But let's add some little dimensional foam pads on the back of this. So that way it's happy all the way. And creates a little more. In case there wasn't enough dimension on this card. We shall add more. And there'll be one more little thing. One more little thing for those of you who think I'm already finished. I'm going to put that right there. Kind of right there. Because there is a matching ribbon to this. And that's available also from Tonic. And I just want it to look girly, to be honest. So this is Aubergine Purple Craft ribbon that you guys can get to match all of this if you like monochromatic makes, which I do. And I love doing a little double bow, you know, and just making it pretty, because why not? And I might have, let's see here. I'm looking for a little charm here. Yeah, let's do that. I think I might have one with, I'm looking for my little, these things. I always forget what they're called. Sorry, guys. This is how I craft. Just like, I think I want a little this and a little of that and a little of that. And add all the things. I didn't have this ready, so I do apologize. I didn't know I was going to go in this direction, but, you know, that's how it goes. Just going to close that off real quick, and then that way it'll have a little heart there, and I think that would be super cute. Okay, so back to this. Back to the bow with a little tail. Woo, I might have touched one of the drops by accident. I hope not. Okay. And I'm hoping this works. I think it will. Tie that around there. And then pull on this. And that should be in there. And what I'll do is that I'll tie another little knot. hope I do this right. Let's see here. I'm not quite 100% sure, but I think I can tie another little knot. So that way it secures the little heart. Woohoo! Come on, baby. There. I think that'll hold it in place. We shall see. But there is a little heart there now. There we go. So now what I'll do is I'll just cut the little tails a little bit shorter. Okay, normally I don't fiddle faddle that much, but I do want to add this here. And I want to make sure that that's, yeah, here we go. I think it's going to add a nice little touch there. Thank you, Sandra, jump rings. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and clean that off. I don't like a yucky nose on my glue. I'm just going to add a tiny little drop of adhesive there. And then we shall add the bow with, come on, little heart. I'm just such a stickler about it facing the right way. That's all. Now, I was a little reckless by adding those drops first, but as you can tell, all is well in the world. It's working. So I'm just going to leave those little tails like that. I try to kind of measure them to the, you know, the width and the height of the card, so it's not too crazy. But there you have that. Card number 1 is complete. And I'll, you know, just write a little something on the inside. But I hope you guys like that. I've had so much fun making it. I am loving it. And let me tell you, it's not a color palette that I would normally even work with. So let me set this aside. It's already promised, right? And I do have an envelope. So that's another cool thing is that when you have the matching envelopes to your cards, of course, it makes life easier. And then you can color coordinate with, you know, what you've done. So why not? Because if you have all of your stuff out anyway, then have a little fun with it, you know? And what I'll do is I'll put this here. It's a lot of fun to take these to the post office, and then, you know, of course, in my situation, it depends on which post office I go to. Some of the people, let me tell you, they need Jesus in a bad way, but others are quite excited. And they're like, what's in it? What's inside? But I'll probably, to be completely honest, because it has such bulk to it, I will more than likely end up having to put it in like a little box. So I'm just going to grab some. This happens to be Midnight, what's this called? Midnight Surf. So it's just a navy blue. And there's this tiny little stamp that came in the set that just creates a little rose, which it's not reading as a rose at all on here, but it's okay. It's the thought that counts. So Chiquita, those are not little fleas. They're actual roses, I promise. I promise they are. Oh my gosh. They don't look, I don't know. Sorry, Tonic Studios, I have to be honest. I don't know what you, it's like a Rorschach test. What do you see? I am not seeing a rose. But hey, it's okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so you're saying, Stacy, well, buen provecho is what we say where I'm from. Buen provecho, that means to your health. And no worries. I know, you know, this is a long video, but this is, you know, it's a fun day. It's just me having fun here. Yeah, Sandra, I'm gonna try to keep it, you know, clean and all that good stuff, because I'm just, yeah. Because just because I was told, right, the old adage, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. So I don't have anything to say. Got nothing to say. I'm just gonna keep it moving. Let's make another card. Okay, so for the other one, let me just quickly clean my hands with my little spray of water here so I don't ruin anything. Normally I have little baby wipes around here, but at the moment that is not the case. Okay, but I have water, so that works. And what I wanted to do is go with a different look. So I have my little envelope there. I have my little papers. Now, remember I had made this one, and maybe I should just finish that one. Let me decide here, because I have this background already good to go, because I wanted this to be a little bit more demure. And I have, no, that's too much. For some reason, I don't like, unless I did it like that. I don't know. You guys tell me. Should I do it with this color lavender? The kit, by the way, let me see here. So I have the other papers. The kit came, you know what? Let me show you the other papers that came in the kit, because for some reason I'm not loving that combo. So it came with these other ones, and I think I might like this one. So, oh, what about this one? Do you guys like that one? I think that's the one. It's so pretty. It's this pearlescent color. I don't know why they did this, but okay. And then there's the Arctic blue. That is, oh gosh, I was just working. Cornflower blue. There's this, I forgot the name of this blue, but it's nice and bright. And then there's this deeper aubergine color. I think that might, yeah, that might work. I'm not liking that. The mauve, okay, so this one, right? Do you like the pearlescent or do you like the deeper one? I mean, it doesn't matter. I can do both. Want me to do both? I'll do both. Let's do both. Let's do both. Right? Kind of a triple threat there. But for those of you who may have gotten this kit, I do hope that this encourages you to play around, you know, just have some fun, not take it too seriously. And I'm doing a little bit of a commercial break here, guys, because I do have to take some stuff out of the way. Because if I don't, I will have a mess, and I don't like messes. Okay, let me set that aside. So, let's cut this down. And for these shiny papers, what's kind of neat about this is that a little bit goes a long way when you're, you know, doing your layering. It already has the shine there for you, so you don't really have to work really hard at that. Which, quite honestly, makes life a little bit easier. So, let me see. I might want it, yeah, that looks about right. So now I'm going to gauge the size of this one. And that's 2.5 by 5 3/8. So again, this is the same color as that ribbon that I was using. So as you can tell, the cool thing about that is that you don't have to worry about matching your projects. Because you're always going to find something that works. And I think that that's super cool. I think No, I think I want this one to be a little bit smaller because I think my card base was not so large. So, thank you for your patience as I cut paper. I know this is not everyone's favorite part to wash, but I'm thinking about this here because I'm going to cut this. Now this is a 5x7 base, so I'm going to grab this ivory card, and this one I'm going to cut down to 4.5. Let's see here. Yeah, by, let's see, maybe 6.5-ish. We'll see. We'll see what that looks like. I'm gonna look at the chat really quickly. Calladita te miras más bonita. Yeah. Oh gosh, it's so hard though. It really is. You know, there's an entire book in the Bible regarding taming the tongue. It's the book of James, if you've never read it. Oh man, and that's one that I need to memorize. Of, you know, just biting the tongue. Don't say what you're thinking, because you never know. It can come, it will always come back, let me tell you. It's like sowing a seed. But all kidding aside, years ago I heard someone say, it was this really neat teaching, but she was talking about how the way it was taught to her was that if you say something about a person, just suppose that you stood on a hill with a pillow and ripped it open and all the feathers went flying, right? How many of those feathers do you suppose you could go back and pick up and bring, you know, place back in that pillow? It's the same with your words. Once they escape your mouth, you know, they're out there. And then there's nothing you can do really to take it back. So, but of course, you know, that's something that that takes time to tame. So of course I'm opening now the glimmer paste that was in the kit, because this is going to have some shine, baby shine. I'm actually going to use the smaller of the spatulas. So by the way, the kit did come with one, but you can get a set of 2. And these are the sizes. And then you can tell one of them is a little more angular. And I'm just going to grab some of this. And I do have some stencils, but I'm just going to wing it. Just going to do this. It's going to be just for the sake of adding color and texture without any thought whatsoever. And then I'm going to close this off and dry it. Now these, you want to make sure you close really tightly so that way it doesn't dry out, because the glimmer paste will dry out very, very, very quickly, just so you know. So if you have a color that's open, you may want to make as many backgrounds as possible with it, and then just, you know, call it gone. But let me dry that one as well. So yeah, it is a good illustration. I remember, because I'm a visual person, that one really did not leave me. Not to say that I'm, you know, of course, I'm not this pious religious person that's going to tell you I'm better than anybody, because that's not true. I'm not a hypocrite, so I'm not going to do that. But I do think that that's something that is worth thinking about, you know, as we get older and we mature and all that. Because the best thing is to not have the regret, right? So this has quite a bit of water content in it, guys, just so you know. Ooh, baby, that's hot. Okay, so it's again going to be different depending on what kind of paper you're adding it to, as far as, you know, your final result and all that. But you can use this, for instance, to finish off a stamped image if you want to. by just adding a tiny bit of it, or you can be kind of bold like this and just add quite a bit. And if you don't like the texture, then of course you can take another swing at it with the spatula and kind of move it around a little bit. You see what I mean? Like in the middle there. Move it back and forth a tiny bit. But I don't really think it's going to be of, you know, a huge impact there. Because it's kind of like contained glitter is what I would call this. You know? So if you're a person that absolutely hates using glitter, but you do like a little bit of shine, maybe on Christmas projects or that sort of thing, or a gift box, then this is a really good medium to use for that purpose. Because it's not going to spill out, you know, this can fall on its side, and even if it were unopened, it's really not going to move much because it's more of a gel. So that can be, you know, kind of neat. And then you're going to notice that the background is actually lighter than the glitter because there is some pink in this, which is why it's fun to see the result of it. It's a nice little surprise in my opinion. Okay, so for this, it's nice and dry now. Now normally, you know, of course, you may want to leave this to dry overnight underneath something heavy if that's something that concerns you as far as, you know, the texture or the paper going right back to flat. I'm just going to add some double-sided adhesive here, these little strips, just to kind of help tame it down a little bit. But yeah, that's what James says. The tongue is fire. It's like, and it's so true, right? It can, words can have such power. I know that an uplifting word can just change your life, right? And speak life into a person. Which is why I stay away from the post office. Stay away from the post office. That way I don't speak bad things. I'm just messing around, guys. Don't want to be too overly serious. Okay, so I'm just going to remove these and proceed with the card. And of course, if you want to, say you add this to your paper, you can always run this through an embossing folder, and that'll give you a really cool result. Okay, but for this, I think I want it this way. Yeah, it's got a little bit heavier color of the actual glitter on that end. So I think this is how I want to apply this. And kind of stretch the paper a little bit just so that it lays flat. I think that's going to be good. Okay, and now I'm going to apply these on here. And now the entire thing obviously is not going to be seen, but you know, I could, no, I can't. I was thinking of maybe adding it on this, you know, horizontally, but that's not going to work. What I'll do is that I'll pop it up from this background. Let's do that. And for that, I'll just use some strips. Okay, and by the way, these strips of foam, if you're wondering where I get this, because I use it in like all my shakers and things like that, especially if it's a more elaborate type of window. I get, these are 1/8 of an inch wide, and I do get them from scrapbook.com, And that, yes, is linked as an affiliate link on the description bar of all my videos. Because when I'm happy with a product, then I'm happy to share with those of you who watch where you can get it. And every now and then, if you subscribe to them, you're going to get a cool email with an awesome sale. And that's when you can stock up on this sort of thing. Because, you know, once you get used to using it, you'll find yourself wanting to use it all over the place. Okay, so, and I do back it up a little bit, you know, kind of add a little bit of the liquid adhesive to it. And quite honestly, if I had the larger squares from Tonic right now, then that's what I would be using, but I'm all out of the larger ones. Never done shakers using, oh, Sandra. Maybe I'll make one today then. I know this was supposed to be about coloring, but do you want me to make a shaker? Because I have everything just about it. Yeah, I would say I would just have to grab a piece of acetate because I wasn't planning on making one, but I'm going to put this all the way over here. I know it's going to be a little bit strange, but that's how I'm going to make this card. He dicho. I have decided. That's how I'm doing it. All the way over there. Why? Because it's different. And then adding that little bit of liquid adhesive does give you a little window there of opportunity to kind of manipulate your paper. Okay. So let's adhere these. Yeah, shakers are fun. What I do is I try to use up the acetate backing that comes with the dies, and it works every single time. It's just really nice to be able to do that. So this one, let's see here, which way? Actually, I don't think there's a wrong way to use this panel, but I am going to use it the same way again. Okay, and for this, I can use it, you know, kind of like this. Stagger it a little bit. Yeah, I like that. So I only need dimension on the bottom now. Okay. And the reason is that there's already dimension on that part of the card. I actually want to add it right here, and the only reason for that is because I didn't like the ivory kind of poking out of the bottom there. So that's how I'm going to place this one. It just seemed a little bit uneven. Okay, so this is going to go right there, which is not exactly centered, but I really like the way that that looks. Okay, and then as far as the sentiment, going back to this, guys, I'm throwing stuff all over the place. I've got these little strips. So if you recall the other little dies that came with this, there's this one that says friend, which can fit right here. And I think I would like it to be with this. So let's go ahead. I'm going to move aside all these markers. I'm losing, what am I saying? I'm running out of room. We're running out of room with the markers. There's so many. Okay. I'm just going to add, or cut this out using my little baby here is what I call it. My little baby. This tiny little thing, which is not the most efficient. I've said that before. If you're going to buy a small die cut machine, this one's not the best. Just going to be completely honest about that. Because it doesn't, it's not very strong. So if you're just starting with crafting, you're better off waiting to, you know, get something good. I thought this would be a nice little supplement, but actually maybe it's, hold on a second. I don't think that's the right plate. Here it is. It's probably user error at the end of the day. Let's see here. And I'm sorry if I do shake the camera. It's, you know, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. Yeah, see, this doesn't even work. So bear with me, guys. I'm going to use my real machine. That's going to end up in the garbage in about a minute. But here's a machine. I feel like Crocodile Dundee. That's not a knife. There we go. There we go. I'll be able to do this. And the good news is that I can cut this one and the other one at the same time. If I can find it. Here it is. There. So the great thing about this is I can just put this low tack tape on here and I'm in business. And I mean, you see that? Hardly any noise. It's like a Cadillac. It's like vroom vroom. Purr, baby. Okay. First pass. Done. And this one. Oh, wait a minute. These all come out individually. I didn't know that. Ah. All right. Let me do something. I am going to double those up. And here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to take my paper. Now the die is right here and it's got the little letters. I'm going to let those fall over here. Okay. And use my little pokey tool here to take out the letters. I'm just going to try to be careful as to where they land. Okay. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is use some double-sided adhesive. And it comes in this big roll like this. So I'm going to take advantage of that to cut it again. I'm sorry I'm off camera. I've just run out of room. I'm just cutting this off. Okay, that way I can put this back. All right. Use your scissors. Now, I had saved these for other uses, but I'm a person that uses like 16 scissors as I'm crafting. I don't know if anyone else does that, but I lose track of where they are. And I end up grabbing another set and another set. Okay, like that. All right. And I'm totally saving those little strips of adhesive. But let me run this again. And here's why. Because this one now is going to be completely tacky. Where am I? I forgot where I put the plates. Okay, so this one's going to be completely tacky. And then the other one I can add dimension to, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe not. But in any case, it'll be doubled up. It's at least the idea that I'm liking. Okay, so that's good to go. I'm gonna set this aside. I'm always afraid of snapping that on my fingers. Okay, here we go. And this can now come off of here. And it makes like instant little stickers. So I suppose the other way you could do that is to cut it out of foam. But I don't think that something this small would work. So I don't know. Let me see. What I was thinking was with the little strips. And so, yeah, Sandra, thank you for asking, because that's what I should have done. I wanted to see if this was thick enough. No, it's not. So yeah, I think that's what I forgot to do. Duh. I needed to do that first. Good thing she's got more paper. So let's add the strips. Let's see if that works. I don't know. Don't know if it's gonna work. But it's not that big of a letter that I have to, you know, worry about how much foam it's gonna take. And I apologize, guys. I don't think ahead. Not all the time, anyway. I should have looked at the chat, Sandra. It's like, hello. Don't think you're doing it right. Here we go. So I'm building kind of like this little fence of double-sided adhesive here. There we go. All right, so I've got it there. I want to see if that's the height of this. No, I need one more just to be on the safe side. And then I'm going to cut it using that. And let's see if it works. We shall find out. It's like I said before, if it's an epic fail, I'm not going to worry about it, because at least I found out what works and what doesn't. Because this is how we learn in crafting, you know? Experiment, experiment, experiment. Okay, so I think I got, wait, nope. All right, so these were the ones with the sticky back. So clearly those need to be stuck on first. And this is gonna have to be a very loyal friend to have the patience to watch me stick letters on. I'm picturing my mother saying avanza, which is Spanish for hurry up. Avanza ya. Termina eso, muchacha. I'm sorry, guys. I can't stop laughing. Oh my goodness. It's like, why was Raquel doing this? Why? Why did she say she wanted to do that again? Okay, my letters have gone rogue. But I want to make sure I do this because I have to use the same die again. And here I am faffing. Faffing with letters. But hey, it's all process. It's a method. There's a method to my madness, I promise. Ay, ay, ay. Mamma mia. There we go. Now, little D is over here. Oh, they're sticking to me. Okay, little D. Now let's run that die again, and hopefully this time around it'll be a little bit faster. Let's disregard the first letters. We're gonna try that again. I'm just gonna cut this down to, wait, hello. Let's be sensible here. I'm gonna cut it down using this first. Then the die. And then what I'll do is I'll add a little drop for the letter I there. You know what I mean? Bring back the Cadillac. let's see if this works. I think it will. I'm gonna be positive and say yes, it's definitely gonna work. We shall find out. Thank you, Mandy. I amuse myself. I can amuse myself in a padded room. Oh gosh. Ooh, did I just break this? Oh no, what was that sound? Oh no. Oh, it was just this. Sorry guys. I apologize. I thought maybe I broke my plate, but no, it was just this. It wasn't all the way down. Let's see. I think it worked. I'm gonna do it one more time just for good measure. I think it worked. Oh, come on. Maybe, oh, you know what it is? I didn't have it evenly on my table. Ooh. I have no idea why it's making that noise. All right, last time, I promise. Promise. Okay, we've got our little word. And I'm just gonna set this on the floor. I'm not gonna deal with that anymore. Okay, let's see what happened. Let's find out. I was so worried that I had broken the die. I think it worked. Let's see here. Poor little thing. It's like a little sandwich. Okay. Oh my gosh. It worked. Let me get my tweezers. There's foam on here, guys. It didn't fall apart. Bubble wrap? Okay, I'm gonna have to, you know, use that for reference going forward. I didn't know I could do that. Okay, let's do it over here so we can see it. Ah! I added the liquid adhesive back there. And of course, it's so sticky. The little foams are so sticky that it wants to stick to the tweezers. So here we go again, faffing all the way. I'm gonna get an award. The most faffing of the year award goes to Raquel. All right, let's put it like that. Then that way. It's for my fluffy friends. Shall have fluffy words. Just like that. Ah, they're dancing. Stay there. I'm thinking this would be really fun with different colors. You know, every letter a different color. That would be really cool. But I'm super happy that this worked. Wait, I'm missing an E. Like a broken cheerleader. I'm missing an E. It's over here. There's that. My little E went over here. And then, of course, you don't have to use all of them with dimension. You could leave one out if you were going to substitute. You know how there's dies that have a letter that will have, like, let's just suppose this had a letter O and you want to substitute it with a little heart or something like that. That's where this could come in super handy, because then you can make the one letter super dimensional and shiny, you know, all that good stuff. I'm using this just because the way that foam cut the, you know, the little strip of paper behind it kind of cut in strips also. So you want to be mindful of that. Take away all the little paper strips. But guys, this works, okay? I'm calling it a success because I went through the trouble of doing it and I'm liking it. So the center part is a little bit more difficult to extrude, but it can be done. It can be done for sure, for sure. Okay, just like that. Boom. All right. My friend, it's done. Okay. Patience is a virtue. So, All joking aside though, I really like on a rainy day would repeat this all over the place and then do an entire card just with that. I think that would be a lot of fun. You've got that one. So Tanya, you want me to send this one to you? Are you claiming it, sweetheart? Or you have the kit? I'm going to put it right there. Right there. Okay, I'm putting this aside. And y'all know it needs a little something something, right? Where are the drops again? Over here. I think my little letters are a bit dancey dance. Here we go. They're not, here we go. They needed a little adjusting. But I know that that needs a little something there. And I don't think the, well actually I may have the drop color. Let me take a quick look. I might have that drop color. I've got this drop here, and this is the color Enchanted Elixir, and it's a bit on that green side. Oh, the cutting machine. That, yes, the Platinum, that was the very first cutting machine I ever got, as far as die cutting is concerned, because I heard such good things about it, and I'm quite pleased with it. Although I just told my husband the other day, I might try to get the Tangerine. That would be awful, honestly, because I really don't need another machine. But I keep hearing it's going to come out again. And, okay, so this is a bit pearlescent. And it's on that, you know, kind of green side there. So I'm going to add that there. And then I'm going to do the same thing as I had done before, not to be redundant, but they are two different cards. If you like a technique, then of course I say repeat it, because it's not like you're giving two of the same, you know, card to the same person, right? If you know what I mean. Now these drops are a little bit cold, and if you're not familiar with Nuvo Drops, when they get cold, they tend to have more of a conical shape rather than that really nice dome. So you may want to warm them up a little bit in your hand before you use them. And I'm over here looking for sorry guys, I'm looking for a needle, which I keep to unplug the little nib, because I really do want to use this color. Otherwise I would have moved on by now. But there we go. Once you get it going, it's literally, it's so cold in my hand. Once you get it going, then you can, of course, you know, go to town with it. And what I like to do sometimes is that I go ahead and use it whichever way it's flowing. And then I'll go back and help the shape along a little bit. And for this, I do want to add quite a, you know, just sporadic little spritz here and there of color. And I had splattered this with the green. Now I wish I had done that over here as well. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm also going to add a little bit of shine to the letters, because I'm not happy with that flat color. And this happens to be just a glimmer pen. It doesn't have any color in it. And I'm not I'm nitpicking at my own card. I'm like, that N is too close to that E, but oh well, I didn't design it, so whatever. I'm like, why is it so close? But this is what I do. I kind of hyper focus on things that don't matter when I'm crafting. I don't know why. All right. can also add a little bit of this. I think it just landed in the wrong place, so I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to do it as if there was a spritz that went from this direction that way. And that, of course, is completely just, you know, me having fun here. Adding more and more and more texture here and there. Okay. So you do whatever you're comfortable with, but I love doing this sort of thing. And I know that it's kind of odd, and I'm sorry that I was out of focus there, or out of frame, but I like this. It's, you know, if you think about kind of like open, you know, white space on a card, you can do it so that it's all, you know, kind of everything gravitates toward one end of a card. For instance, if you were going to do it horizontal, you could do it like that. If you wanted to do it on this side of the card, right? So if you can see, depending on how you're, you know, kind of framing things out, you can vary it up. But I'm really happy with that. Hello, Carolyn. Thank you for being here. So that's this one. Let's contrast it with the other one, which I had set aside to dry over here. Quite a difference, don't you think? This one's a little bit more glimmery and all that, whereas this one has all that amazing texture on it. I love either one. I don't know what you guys think, but there is another way to go about this. I'm going to set these aside. And the important thing is, of course, give it 24 hours to dry before you mail it out. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Thank you, thank you. So yeah, you can have a play. I mean, the next one that I wanted to do was this. And now, Sandra, I know we talked about doing a shaker. I was thinking of doing that, but here's my issue. I don't have the correct size border, and I really wanted to color this in. So I'm gonna owe you a shaker, Sandra, because it would have been super easy to just do that with this part. But I wanted to incorporate this because I wanted to show you guys the dies that came with this. If you take a look at it, and this is what's cool about the Tonic Studios dies, right? And here's the one that I use. I have not even touched this one yet. So they don't have a border. This is called a Verso die. So you can cut it as many times as you like out of a border, and then of course you can choose the size of your background. So whatever shape you prefer, you can go with that. You can center it, you know, as you can tell, you can do it toward one side, or you can use it with the included dies and then get yourself the strip that, you know, comes with it. And what I did was that I used the stitched one instead of that simple kind of border there, right? Now, what I was thinking to do is to simply adhere this down first. And that's what I'm gonna add here. Now the card base is the same as before, where I just took one of these ivory card bases that come already pre-measured and everything, because it makes life a whole lot easier. And I'm just gonna add this on here. And this is the one that I had mentioned I wanted to do in a kind of a lighter color scheme, just to see what it would look like. So of course, you know, there's quite a bit of detail here. And the reason that I'm even bothering with this amount of adhesive is because I'm going to be coloring it. If I weren't, I would just focus on the outer portion and just forget about the center of it. Okay, so on here, as soon as you're happy with the amount of adhesive you've got, just make sure your card is folded in the right direction, of course. And then I'm going to hold it this way. I'll try to center that as much as I can. And if it isn't perfect, of course, you know, practice forgiveness. Okay. So there's that. And now we're gonna pick out some colors here. Let's see here. Got pink. This is Sandcastle. This is Sweet Blossom. Oh, wonderful, Carolyn. Yes, that is very, very, very smart. Absolutely. Life can get far too demanding when it comes to all this social media stuff. You know, you have to be really careful what you're consuming with your mind. I've said that before, you know. So stepping away for a moment is never a bad idea. Okay, so I grabbed some markers. Let's just go with that. As I've said before, I try not to overthink it. I don't know what color this is, however, so I'm going to substitute that with, let's see here. Some of these are older. And some of them just don't have a number, and I don't know why. Not sure how that happened. Okay, but I'm going to stick with this. Okay, this is 451. No clue what color that is. And actually, I even have to check and see if there is any color on this. You know what? I might just go with a Copic. Let's see here. I might go with this one. Okay, this is R20. I'm just going to start it off with this because otherwise we'll be here all day. Okay, and I'm going to go for this little cabbage rose here. And I'm just going to start putting color on here. Now, mind you, this is not Copic paper. This is not anything special. This is just ivory card that's 110 pound from Tonic Studios. And in fact, let me have this as reference here. A little bit hard to distinguish what some of the shapes are initially. But I'm just going to start laying down color, and we'll see where it takes us. Might end up looking like a loose watercolor, but this one's a bit more vibrant, as you can tell. Now, I did lay down a lighter color first. Okay, but again, these are alcohol markers, so they should blend nicely. And I'm going to go in with this third color. This third color, by the way, is 450 Sweet Blossom. So I'm going to use this to blend out everything else that I put on there. And I'm going to try to move a little bit fast here. Now, if you're not entirely into this, or you just don't have these markers, you can do the same exact technique with pencils. And quite honestly, the only reason I'm not doing that is because of time. I think I'm gonna pretend like these are petals also, even though I cannot at all make out what this is. I'm just gonna pretend that these are petals. Like this is one big open flower. I might be right and I might be completely wrong. I'm not gonna worry about it. But as you can tell, I'm doing kind of the same thing, which is laying dark color toward the edge, then a medium tone, and then a lighter color to blend it all out. And thank you. Thank you so much, Carolyn. I really appreciate that. Here's that blush. Now again, this is toward the outer edge, and this is going to be a little bit more peachy now because I did the darker pink toward the center there. But you're not really breaking any rules by doing that. Okay, because you have to look at the petal and think, okay, what's the farthest part of the petal? And then which part do I think is closest to me? And then determine how, you know, you lay your color according to that. Okay, just like that. All right, so I am pretty happy with that. I'm gonna pick another one, and hopefully it's also a flower, because like I just said, it's a little bit hard to make out. Let's do 452 first. I'm gonna do this one here. And then what's really fun about this is that you don't have to worry too much about the edges either. So it's kind of like a, I don't know, a free-flowing way of coloring, if you will. It's a little bit more forgiving, I think, anyway. So here goes the mid-tone. And of course I'm overlapping that first color that I put down. And if I really wanted to be serious about this, I would have put down maybe even a deeper color toward the center of that as the darkest, and then gone over it with the pink like I had done with those the first flowers that I did, those deep purple ones. And wait a minute, where am I? 452, 450. Okay, no, I'm not going back in that direction. I'm gonna go in with that lighter one. Blend everyone out. This is gonna be a little bit of a peachy color, even though it's supposed to be a pink marker. It's looking peach to me though. Okay. I think I need to add more ink to this one. All right. So let me do a couple more of those little petals. Yes, absolutely, Carolyn. And I do have the Catherine Puller inks, which are water-based, and they're super, super saturated. Those, out of all my ink pads, those are definitely my favorite. But I wanted to take a look at these colors here. These were the ones that came in the set, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say these are the ones that came with the kit. So I'm going to look here for an opportunity to add this color, because of course that contrast is going to make it look fabulous. And then blend it out with that lighter green. And it'll look messy at first, guys, but you have to trust the process, as I had said before. And if you're not enjoying the blend, just add another color to it, okay? Because, for instance, to me, that was too much of a jump, too much of a leap there in color shade. So, in fact, I'm going to add this, well, I don't know if there's any ink on that. I think I may have accidentally let that one dry. I don't know. Yep, bear with me, guys. Where's my minty, mint, mint, mint? 360, where are you? Yep, I think I need another one of those. Ooh la la, that's not good. So anyway, back to this. I'm gonna add some more green here. And again, I'm trying to gauge here where, because there's some part of this that's not entirely clear. And I'm sorry if the sound is not pleasant. I promise you I'm not doing it on purpose. But it's just the friction between the, you know, that nib and the actual paper. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit more down here. And of course, it doesn't all have to be completely solid or anything. It's up to you. But I think that when you add the contrast of the green with the pinks and the softer colors, just like in a bouquet, and I've said this before, it does help the other colors kind of pop a little bit more. So that's why I think it's worthwhile doing it. And I'm going to do one more flower here. Oopsie. And then the other ones I'm just going to pretend are kind of fillers in the bouquet, if you will. So I can go ahead and color them in this lighter green. So even if it is a flower petal, there's no reason why I have to follow that. Okay, but I did want to add this one here. So let's go back to these darker colors. Let's see here, 52. I'm kind of keeping it snug here with what I think is the actual base of the petal. And then the mid-tone. And lastly, the highlight. So the nibs, to answer your question, Carolyn, the nibs on the tonic marker are not exactly as soft as the Copic ones. For instance, this is more like a brush when you're applying it. The ones on the tonic ones are a little bit more firm. They don't have the same amount of give, you know. They're definitely more like a marker, whereas this is more of a brush. So I'm going to add a little bit more shadow on this little end over here. But they do blend nicely, I have to say. I'm not, you know, the whole thing about the alcohol markers, at least for me, is that I've never had anyone ask me, oh my gosh, did you color that with Copics? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I think it's, you know, all up to whatever your budget dictates is what I think you should be using. And then, of course, there's more color variety in the Copic family. but I waited quite a few years before even thinking of buying any Copic markers, because I think, you know, sensibility is a good thing to practice, right? All right, so there's that bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of this very, very light pink here and there, because as I had said before, you just start adding the colors that you think will look right in the background. And that is as much as I need to do on this one as far as coloring is concerned. So now I have the option of adding this on top to make this nice and crisp. And the other thing that I can do is that I can leave this as it is, which is this nice crisp white color, or I can change the color of this panel by adding ink to it, or whichever other medium, right? So having said that, I'm thinking that, let me see here. I'm thinking that a little bit of mousse would be super cool, because then I can leave everything else as is and have all of the color on this card be on that one little area. I'm gonna use my rubber eraser really quickly here because I do see a little smudge. I don't like that. Okay. So I cleaned out the center of that die cut. Okay. And the other option, of course, is to color it. I didn't use these colors, but I do like the idea of making it a deeper color. So I have this mousse, and this happens to be spring green. I think that's what I want to use. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a brush. Thank you so much, Sandra. Oh, skin so. Oh, okay. So do you like the Ohuhu markers, Sandra? I'm guessing you do if you mentioned that. But yeah, it's always good to share. Share what you like. But you see how nice and bright this is? And this is a wonderful way to transform a piece of paper. So basically, here's how I would look at the whole mousse thing. Since we're on the topic of like markers and that and the cost, I just as soon buy a pot of Nuvo mousse before I would get a Copic marker, because this is something that you can use as texture, or you can use it as I am doing here to color an entire background. And it's going to give it that pearlescent finish. So if you're maybe, you know, don't have the budget to buy the packs of like specialty card, the mousse is a more sensible way to go about coloring your paper to give it a really nice rich finish, because you can use it on top of any color paper that you already have. So even if you have, say, a piece of a paper pad, let's just say, that you purchased, and then there's some papers in it that are not quite as lively as you would like, or, you know, whatever, depends on your taste, then you can always apply mousse on top of it. And it'll stretch your base of, you know, of colors. So let me just close this before it dries out. That's one thing I'm going to advise. Always check your markers, because as you can tell, some of mine do dry out because I forget. All right, I'm just going to clean this off real quick. And yes, you can use that on top of another piece of paper. But let me see. I'm going to do that. I'm going to just go ahead and use this up, because I'm going to be able to use this on a different project. Just have that little bit of pearlescent color on that. And while I'm at it, I'm going to do this. And then that way I'll have some green paper. Now this isn't watercolor paper, but I may as well. I'll be able to use it for background or something. Just add the texture. So maybe I'll dry emboss it or something later on. So I'm just going to set that aside. Let that dry. And clean this up. Got letters and things all over the place. But let's bring back that card. And now I'm going to place this right on top. Of course, I want to make it match. And as you can tell, it just changes the entire look of this with very little effort. Because if you ask me, that's not all that bad considering where we started, right? And what I'm going to do now is just apply adhesive here. And if you want to stagger this, you can, depending on what you did here. That's going to change the look of it. It's going to be entirely optional as to, you know, what look you're giving this. And then the other thing you can do is you can cut this out twice and have, for instance, a lighter and a darker green, or have a green and a pink, or, you know, whatever colors you're using. And that's going to give you an entirely different look also, a little bit more depth. And then you can, because I had mentioned that this, for instance, this die cut, the actual die that I use will not cut the edges, then of course you can cut it out of a larger piece of card, place your acetate on the back, and then create a shaker out of this. Because then you just have to put the foam adhesive on the 4 edges and you're in business. So let's go ahead and walk this again from the one little edge all the way up. I'm gonna be really, really careful here. But I am loving these designs. I think they're so pretty. Okay, so this card is actually going to be like this. It's going to be horizontal. Okay. And it's not absolutely, you know, perfect because paper does stretch, especially when you add any kind of water medium to it. But I'm quite happy with that. And then again, with those stamps, I can go ahead and complete this. So I'm going to bring back that little banner because I really liked it. Yes, absolutely. That'll look really, really cool. I love doing that. In fact, in a lot of the mini albums that I've made, that's exactly how I've made the leaves. Is by using that technique, you know, making the background paper, then, you know, doing all the color, all the shine and all that good stuff, and then cutting it out with the dies. So here, I think I want to add the flag directly on here. Let me make sure it's nice and even Steven. And I'm trying to think of what color to use here. Let's see. I've got lime burst. I think I'm gonna like that. We'll find out. Because I can use this as the background, and if I don't like it, I can always cut another banner and put it right on top. And I'm gonna put this one right here. And I like that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stamp it and then cut it down. So let me grab another little piece of paper. I'm trying to find a white piece of paper, guys, so bear with me. White piece of paper. I just need a little strip of it. Because then what I want to do is just create a shorter little flag there with the same stamp. Just going to avail myself of a little strip here. And I feel bad. I feel like I neglected the little ovals. The little die cuts, but I can always add them at the end. Oopsie. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp this again. And then what I'm going to do is cut it down to size. So first I'm going to cut out that pretty part, just following the very edge of that stamp. And I always think that the larger scissors are better for straight lines. Move that out of the way. Okay. But I want this little banner, but I want it to be a little bit shorter, so I'm going to add it down here. And then I'm going to cut it down to size. I'm going to just gauge the distance there, try to straighten it out a tiny little bit. And this one's going to go down here. That's all. Not too scientific, right? Add my adhesive. This one's going to go right there. Boom. Just like that. Still a little bit wet, but that's okay. I love this. I really, really like that shine on there. And I wanted to see what else is on here. There's the hello. Hello. Can add that on here also. So let me grab the what I want to use for this. If you could see behind me, it looks like a war broke out. Oh my gosh, there's stuff everywhere. Oh gosh, but this is fun. I have to say, this is a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and make a hello. We want to use this color for the sentiment, which is this gorgeous lilac. I'm just going to use a piece of low-tack tape. And then for my shadow, I'm going to see if I have, let's see here. I happen to have this color, which is this mirror card. I'm going to use this. Let's cut off a little piece. You can see my reflection there. Okay, so I'm going to tack that one down. Run this through my machine. And there's the rest of my stamps. I was wondering where I had put that. Gotten a workout today lifting this, putting it down, moving it around. Who says I don't work out? Okay, I'm gonna run that through. And of course, had I been paying attention, I would have used that double-sided adhesive that I was talking about. Don't know why I forget to use it. Okay, just grab my little plates here. Just move that. There we go. Okay. We are almost done. Almost done. I'm so proud of myself. I made some cards today. Okay, so let me just get this out of here. Thank you. Yes, this one is a little bit more soft. And of course, when you get, sorry guys, that was a little dirty. When you get the colors in your kit, and I know this has been said a million times before, but you decide how, you know, how much you stick with that, because of course it's up to your comfort level on, you know, whether you even like the colors. So you might not be a person that enjoys using dark or vibrant colors. Maybe that's a bit out of your comfort zone. And there's nothing wrong with that. So it's okay to go ahead and just veer away from that and do your own thing. And then of course, you know, it might surprise you that something that came across initially as off-putting maybe will be something that you can actually enjoy crafting with. And that goes for, you know, whether it be a mini album that you saw, or maybe a 3D craft that you saw. Sometimes it's the colors that are putting you off to it, and then if you see a new version of it, it can completely, you know, transform your perspective on it, right? I know that's happened to me with a couple of 3D makes that, you know, I've made with the feedback I've received on them, which is always surprising. You never know what people are going to like. I'm going to wipe this off because the one caveat about the mirror card, of course, is that it slips. So the adhesive sometimes is going to seep out, and it does dry clear, but I typically try to clean it off with a baby wipe or a paper towel before I put it on my cards. Okay, so I'll clean it off as much as I can. And even off camera, I'll go ahead and burnish that. But now I'm going to be able to apply this here, and I am going to use a couple little squares. Why not? Happen to have them here. Let's see if they'll fit. I might have to cut them down. I think I grabbed too many. They all stuck to my fingers. Yeah, they love sticking to me. Loyal little squares. Come on now. Let me go. I'm trying to get them off. Oh gosh, that was a little bit of a tug of war there. Okay, there's that. And I've got mousse all over my fingers. Gonna need a good scrub down tonight. Okay, so I'm just gonna add my adhesive there. And I am going to add this right in between both of those little banners. Just like so. Gosh, to me it looks so different from the other ones. In fact, I think I want to cut it down, but I'll do that off camera. But I am going to conclude this video here. I'm going to invite you guys to come back all next week. And Sandra, I would like your address as well. Please email me. I want to just say a huge thank you for being here for most of this video. Or actually, I think Sandra was here from the very beginning. Oh my gosh, I know it takes a whole lot of patience to watch me craft live. It's entirely different from a pre-recorded video because I can't snip out all the ums and the jumping around and all that good stuff. But I hope that you guys have enjoyed crafting with me today. This has been so much fun. Just breaking open a kit, taking a look at what can be done with it, and of course combining all of the other goodies that you can with it. I hope that it serves as inspiration. Oh wow, I'm so sorry, Mandy. But But yeah, the colors, I think there's a whole lot here. I'm definitely, you know, I think I surprised myself as the direction in which this went, especially this card here. But I'm so happy that I went with my gut on that and just kept adding texture with it. So to give a quick rundown for those of you who were not here, this is the stamp heat embossed with navy and gray ink onto the linen weave cardstock, then colored with the alcohol markers that were included in the kit, and then also supplemented with two other colors, which were the Tiger Lily and Fruit Punch, I think it was. These two peachy tones. So that's how that center panel was created. We went ahead and used some expanding mousse. We used some Falling Leaves Shimmer Powder, and then that purple panel was just a little cube like this with purple ink. And we also stamped the banner and stamped the sentiment, "You are amazing," added some purple ribbon that coordinates with the whole bit. This one here was using that gorgeous, fabulous glimmer paste. The coloring was more, this was more elaborate coloring, and I did do that off camera, but I did use oxide ink. I used white ink. I used, I'm forgetting now. Oh, water-based Catherine Puller ink for the green there. And then, of course, topped off with all that beautiful glimmer. You guys need to see, like, the up close of that. There is so much shine in there, because I think I forgot to mention that on this I had also used the oh, what's the name of this? Let me grab it. The glitter gloss. So this is clear, but I did use that on almost that entire panel, mostly the flowers. So, of course, you guys saw me do this with the white on white, and then colored in with alcohol markers, topped off with some Nuvo mousse. Simple stamping there as well. But how fun. Thank you so much. Yes, definitely a lot of different ways to use it. Sorry, missed a bit. Daughter wanted jacket potatoes, so had to, oh, that sounds amazing, Tanya. No worries. You can always rewatch these videos. You can watch them at your own pace. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already done so. Hit the notification bell, and all next week, every single day, Monday through Friday, I have videos for you. So on one of the days, I think I have two. So don't forget to come back and enjoy all the creativity. Just even if it only serves as inspiration, you don't have to purchase anything if you don't want to. But of course, to support my channel, if you do use my links, then I will be very, very appreciative, because it does help me bring you this type of content. So if you like what you see, don't forget to come back, leave me comments. The thumbs up help, sharing the videos help, and I appreciate it all. And for Chiquita and Sandra this time around, you two ladies are going to walk away with one of these cards. So Chiquita had already promised this one. Sandra, I need you to choose. Would you like this one or would you like this one? Which one should I send your way? Let me know. My email is paintsandglitter@gmail.com. And then Tanya, whichever one Sandra does not choose, Tanya, just send me your address and I'll send it your way as well, okay? So thank you so much for having been here with me. As I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed, and I thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.